Okay, so thank you for joining us. In this video clip, we will be talking about why we use natural phenomena and also what we mean with natural phenomena. So I'm wondering if you've ever thought about why are we actually teaching science in school? What are we hoping that students will learn? So what we're hoping that students will learn in our science class, how they can use science outside of the classroom, outside of school to make sense of the world they live in using science ideas. So when we use natural phenomena in our classroom, we are providing students with multiple opportunities to use science ideas to make sense of the world that they live in. So what do we mean with phenomena? What is a natural phenomenon? Natural phenomena are observable events that we can see, that we can hear, that we can smell, that we can touch, and that we can taste, and that we can explain using science ideas. So let's take a look at this picture. This is a picture that Stacy and I took at one of our vacations in Yosemite National Park. It's at the top of a waterfall. And as you're looking at this picture, what natural phenomena do you notice in this picture? So if you like to, you can pause the video for a moment. Okay, Stacy, so when you look at this picture, what phenomena do you notice here?
Well, the first phenomenon I notice is that while most of the trees are green, a number of them look gray.
Yeah, I really like how you say that because you're not saying I see some dead trees. You're actually telling me what you observe and you leave the interpretation for later. And that's a really important thing when we look at phenomena is describing what we're actually observing.
And, you know, along those lines, Will, I'm looking at the stones in the river and at the edge of the river, and some of them are very smooth and some of them look more tumbled, look more rough edged. It's really tempting to say, oh, I see weathering and erosion, but those are processes. They happen too slowly over too long a period of time for me to observe. What I do observe is the shape of the rocks now as a result of those processes.
Yeah, that's great. And I'm also looking at rocks in the background. In fact, the mountains in the background would look very smooth. And the other thing I noticed, since we were talking about trees, is that most of the trees seem to be low in the lower areas of the picture, and there are very few, if any, trees on those mountain slopes in the back. In addition, part of this picture is this beautiful blue sky, which is another phenomena that we can think about.
And, you know, we don't tend to think of a blue sky, although it's a wonderful sign for a day. We don't think of it as a phenomenon. And I think we really want to rethink how we think of that word. So phenomena do not have to be phenomenal. I think sometimes we want to find these really spectacular events as phenomena, but the blue sky, there's some really great science you need to explain why the sky is blue, or why some of the trees are green and others are gray, or why the rocks are the shapes they are. So again, phenomena, look at the heading of this slide. They're things that we can explain using science ideas.
Yeah, I'm glad that you brought up this idea about phenomena don't need to be phenomenal, because I'm also looking at these trees, most of which are growing straight up. There is one at the bottom left that it's sort of a little bit under an angle. And that's definitely not phenomenal that these are growing straight up. It seems to be the normal thing. But when we think about it, it's actually an interesting phenomenon now that we know that gravity is actually pulling everything down, and these trees are actually growing in the opposite direction. So as we're thinking about these phenomena, is this physics? Is this chemistry? Is this life science? Is this earth science? What are you thinking about that?
Well, when you talk about trees, of course, I'm always thinking life science, but you just mentioned gravity, which we tend to associate with physical science, right? So it's really hard to talk about really anything involved in a tree without bringing in the other sciences, whether it's the chemistry of the color of the leaves or the forces involved in the trees standing up versus falling down. It's hard to really isolate the biology.
Yeah, so the physical sciences, the physics and the chemistry are often supportive of our understanding in life science and earth science. And this is actually a good takeaway from this video clip. When we are engaging students in phenomena and making sense of phenomena, they often need multiple sciences. So we have to start thinking of our science classroom as a more integrated science classroom, not a science classroom where we're only doing physics or only doing life science, but where we are integrating these sciences, which will actually have huge benefits for our student understanding of science. So thank you for joining us, and we hope we'll see you soon in another video clip.
Bye, everyone.